Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing this look for you. This is another Throwback Thursday. So the palette I whipped out today is one that I really like, but I literally bought this and I mean, I might have only used like one of the colors or two of the colors, maybe once. Like this is a palette I bought and I kind of never really used. So this is, I bought this like over a year ago, the Juvia'S Masquerade Mini. And this is what it looks like. So this is the one that's kind of got like half neutral and half colorful shades. So what I did today was this look, obviously kind of out there, but I really wanted, well, this is what happened. I was doing my eyes and I wanted to do like blue with brown because I think it looks really nice, the warm brown with the blue. And then when I looked at this top row, I couldn't figure out which one of these lid colors I wanted to use, so I used all of them. And I'm not mad about how it turned out. I did pull just a couple colors from other palettes because this palette, as pretty as it is, it needs some helper colors. Like it needs a dark color. Like if, sometimes when I look at this, I feel like these two browns look exactly the same and these two browns are super the same. This one's like a little more red than this one, and then this one's just like a little lighter than this one. But other than that, they kind of look the same. And so sometimes I wish that like this was like a super dark brown or a black or something like really intense, because I just feel like it would kind of round out the palette more. So I did pull a color. I pulled a dark color out of another palette, and then I also did throw in just one shade from this Makeup Revolution Alexis Stone palette. I showed this on my Instagram the other day. I pulled in this middle color just because I really wanted to use this. Yeah, so I pulled that in to the eye look, obviously, to kind of have a little pop. But, you know, most of the eyeshadows are from this palette. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this look. Today in this one, I did end up doing my face makeup before. So it's just like the eyes, the cheeks, the lip, that kind of thing. But yeah. That's kind of it, because I just wanted it to be about the eyes this time. Okay guys, so that is it. Hope you like this video. If you're new here, please subscribe. Love to have you. I do these every Thursday. And yeah, if you want to see how I got the look, then just keep on watching. All right guys, so here's what we're going for today. Something super fun. So to get started, my eye is already primed and I used my e.l.f. Concealer as usual. And then I'm gonna just take a little bit of my ABH Vanilla Setting Powder. And I'm going in with just a big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to set like right there under my eyebrow. And this is just gonna help everything blend in a little better. So I'm first going in with the shade Ada, and I'm going to start packing this in the outer corner of my eye. I feel like I tend to do this most of the time now. Start with like some of my darker colors first. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of pack this in the outer corner. And then along with that, I'm gonna take the shade Fulani, and I'm going to also put that in the crease as well. This is just like another one of the darker browns from this palette. It's more like a gray neutral tone. And I'm basically just putting this on top to deepen this a little bit, but to also make sure that that shade isn't like too red, I guess. I'm then gonna take a small little blending brush. This is a MAC 221 and the shade Zulu. And I'm going to start blending in my crease. And I'm blending around the edge of those first shades we put down. And I'm also blending pretty much all the way across my crease. And then because this palette doesn't have like a lighter blending color, having that loose powder down first is going to kind of be what helps me blend this out, because I'm just going to keep kind of blending around the edges here without adding extra product. And that shade Zulu will eventually kind of just start to fade out into that kind of area that we set already. So it'll look like, you know, you faded it out with another blending shade, even though we are just using the same shade. I'm going back in with the shade Ada, and I'm also gonna blend this in the crease as well, just to like deepen up just a little bit. Now this palette doesn't have a lot of deep colors, so I did have to pull from outside this palette just for like a dark color. Yeah, because this palette doesn't really have one. So for that, I'm gonna go into the ABH Soft Glam palette, and I just mixed Noir with Mulberry, the two deepest shades. And this just basically creates like a darker version of the other colors I've been using. And then I'm just going to pack this in the outer corner on top of that other dark shade I had down, Ada. And then I'm gonna go back in with my MAC 221 just to make sure that that is blended. Okay, so now that this is all blended out, I'm going to cut my crease really quick. So I'm gonna do just like I always do. I'm not gonna show it this time because I feel like it gets kind of redundant. So I'm gonna do a half cut crease as I always do. I'm gonna use the same e.l.f. concealer and this Peaches PC40 flat brush. So I'm gonna do that really quick and then I'm gonna come right back. When I was first doing this look, I couldn't figure out which shimmer I wanted to use. So I kind of used all of them. So I'm gonna first go into the shade Dahlia. And for all these, I'm using my Alamar flat brush. So I'm gonna put this on, I'm gonna spray it with some setting mist, and then I'm gonna apply this first to the outermost part of my cut crease over here. I'm not going all the way to the outer corner. This is sort of just going right on the last bit of the cut crease and layering into kind of like where my outer corner is. Just not pulling it all the way out. Once that shade is on, I'm gonna wipe off my brush and then I'm gonna go into the shade Zola. Again, get that on my brush and then I'm gonna spray it. And then this shade is gonna go on the center and I'm going to layer it over top of that last color a little bit. Finally, I'm gonna go into the shade Molly. And obviously this is gonna go on the innermost part of my eye. And as I'm putting all these colors down, I'm making sure to get them like right up to the edge of my cut crease. I'm going back in with my mix of Noir and Mulberry, and I'm going to blend this on the edge of the blue here, just to kind of have this, as always, transition better into my lid. Now I'm gonna pull one more color, not in this palette, just because this is something I really want to use and I just got it and I'm like dying to use it. And I thought it would go really well. This is the Makeup Revolution X Alexis Stone palette. This is the Transformation palette. The Ulta I went to didn't have the full big one. They were sold out of it. So my local Ulta had this one, not the other one, but this is the one I really wanted anyway. So I'm gonna take the middle shade in here and I'm first going to apply this dry in the inner corner, and you can see like this color is literally amazing. It's kind of like a Mermaids in a pressed version. And I'm gonna take a little bit more of that, wet my brush again, and then I'm just gonna pat this kind of up into the lid here, just so you get that really pretty like sparkle and, you know, the sparkly duochrome quality of this, just to really enhance the lid a little bit. But I'm just going kind of right here on the inner part. So now to work on the lower lash line, I'm gonna start off with the shade Zulu on my blending brush. And I'm just gonna layer this up a couple times to get a really nice, warm, blended kind of halo effect under my eye. I'm gonna take a little bit of Ada to add a little bit more warmth. And then I'm gonna go back in with that mix of Mulberry and Noir from the ABH palette to get that depth I want. And I want the depth pretty much all the way across. And I'm also gonna take some of that Mulberry shade and put it in my waterline. And then I'm gonna take the same shades in the order I put them on the top and put those lid shades on the bottom. So I'm gonna start off with the shade Molly. And that's gonna go on the innermost part. I have so much eyeshadow like in my eyeball right now. My eye's usually not sensitive, but whoa. Okay, I'm gonna take the shade Zola and apply that next. And then finally take the shade Dahlia. And you kind of want that last shade to just fade into the brown. So you're gonna kind of like, I lift up my brush as I'm going. And then I also go back in with my blending brush just to kind of soften the edge. Finally, I'm gonna take that blue shade from the Alexis Stone palette one more time and just layer that, oops, just layer that over top right in the inner corner. All right, and that is it for the eyeshadow. So I'm gonna throw on my lashes, which will be down below. I'm gonna put on my brows, and then we will come back to work on the rest of the face. All right, guys, so eyes are done now, brows are on, and now I'm gonna work on the face. I already have my foundation and everything on. Today I used the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer. I used the ABH foundation. I used the e.l.f. concealer I used on my eyelids to highlight as usual. I used my ABH loose powder in vanilla, whatever color, vanilla, to set everywhere. And then I used my Tarte Parquet Princess palette, and I used the shades Princess Cut and Angle to do like my contouring and bronzing. So we are done with that. And now let's move on to some face color. So if you watched a couple videos back of mine, I talked about how I was using like the shimmery MAC blush, and I love that color, but with how bad my skin texture is right now, it made my skin look so gross. So I'm gonna use a matte blush today. And I decided to whip this out. This is the Morphe blush palette in the shade 8W, which is the warm palette. That would go best with my eye look today. And what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna use, this shade called MUA for my blush today. I just wanna use something matte so it doesn't like enhance my texture any more than it already is. A lot of you, at least like 4, I think, different people recommended the Paula's Choice exfoliating like liquid stuff. So I did end up actually purchasing that. I got it off Amazon, so it should be here in a couple days. So I'm very excited to try that because I read reviews and people posted pictures and stuff too. It looks like that stuff actually works really well. So I'm excited to give that a try to see if that'll help my terrible texture. But for today, like when I was putting on my foundation, concealer, powder, all that stuff, I used my beauty blender to try to minimize the amount of texture I pulled up, because when I use a brush, it tends to be worse. So yeah, I'm just gonna use this blush, and I'm gonna try to keep it back here a little more as well and not go too close to my nose, because then I feel like when the blush kind of goes on top of those bumps that I have right here, it's what makes them look worse. And then for highlight today, I'm gonna go back into this Alexis Stone palette, and I'm gonna take this top shade here, which is more of, they don't have names either. It just says 7, so okay, 7, which is this one right here. I'm gonna use that to highlight today. It's sort of like a gold kind of shade. But I'm just gonna go with a little bit of this. This is super glittery, which will enhance my terrible texture. So I'm just gonna kind of put a little bit of this like right at the top of my cheekbone and like not go ham like I usually do. And then I'm just gonna do a little boring nude lip today. I'm gonna use MAC WHIRL lip pencil with the MAC lipstick in the shade Act Natural. You guys are about to be shook, but I actually put on a lip that it is too cool toned, which never happens to me because I like it that way, but I don't think it goes with the eyes. So I'm gonna warm this up with the Morphe lipstick in the shade Wifey. Yeah, that just has a more warm tone that I think goes better with the whole eye makeup and everything. If you want to see my brows, I did actually do a tutorial on my brows, how I did them today. And I used the Anastasia Beverly Hills Ombre Brow Kit. I found this at Ulta the other day. So I used that for my brows today. If you want to see how I did it, I do already have an IGTV video up for that, so check that out. And yeah, that's kind of it. Hope you enjoyed it as always, and I will see you next time. Bye.